Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Court of the EDI Jester. How are we all? I'm just having a mull this morning. I thought I'm going to talk to the camera and not do anything specific. Morning. I have to keep resetting the damn thing and redoing the. I've got it on like an arm. You know, you have an arm, don't you? And you pull it and it moves around. And I have to keep resetting. I need one of those things that you put up, you know, with a bubble on. Bubble in it. It's got bubble in it. What's it called? Aneurysm. No, not an aneurysm. Spirit level. So I can get it straight. Right? Like it's straight now, innit? Here's damn it, eh? It's the Conservative Party conference up here in Manchester. It's done nothing but rain. There were some protesters, various people dressed in black. Antifa forever. Various people dressed in black. Right? And then a few disgruntled people outside the library shouting about, I don't know what, nonsense mostly. Right? Then there's photographs coming from the Tory Party conference. And there's hardly anybody in there. There must be more. They're obviously cherry picking the photos. That's what they do in it. They cherry pick the photos. But it makes it look like there's nobody there. Always makes me laugh. So people are protesting. They're up here. You know, Sunak's out doing his thing and chatting about this and chatting about that. Saying he's for the motorists now. Okay, well, that's good. Great. Let's end ULEZ. Let's end all this, you know, charging to drive nonsense, shall we? And get rid of most of the speed cameras. Yeah, we'll see how much you're for the motorist, shall we? And this, of course, brings up the usual suspects. And Twitter's been alive with lots of nonsense because it's a Tory Party conference, which is quite fun. I mean, I've got nothing specific for you. I was sat there thinking, God, this is fun, isn't it? So you've got people going, what a wonderful idea, 15-minute cities. Isn't that lovely to have everything you need within your grasp? To which I responded, what, you mean like a village? Right? But without the sort of local guys going, here's Mr. Smart, the baker, and this is Mr. Smith, the butcher. Right? And here's Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones runs the hardware store. This is Miss. Do you know what I mean? Years ago, it's all a bit idyllic. It's an idyllic, an English idyll, you know, where there's sort of all these people like something out of Agatha Christie, right? Or do you mean like Coronation Street, like it used to be with Ina Sharples? Are those eclairs fresh? I'll have two of them. Think gold, mini Goldwell. Right. What do you think these people mean by 15-minute cities? What exactly does that mean? Yep. And where exactly does that lead? It's really interesting to me that we've got a Tory Party conference and we've got a Labour Party conference, and the Tory Party conference is just saying, now, as the elections sort of looming on us in the next 12 months, what the Tory Party should always be saying. Freedom first, right? So, oh yeah, we're not going to do, no 15-minute cities. No, what we meant was, right? Oh, and by the way, WF. Yeah, no, we're not going to do all they say. Net zero, no. We're not going to do all they say, no. Okay, Mr. Sunak, what else is it we're going to get from you coming up with the election? Well, we're going to help the common man. How are you going to do that? I've never known such a politically incoherent time where we've no idea what the fuckers are up to. What are they doing? And then you've got Labour. It's utterly surreal. Who on Twitter are floating around pictures of Twitter, right, of Keir Starmer shaking the hand of a black man and saying, we need a race charter, a race equality act in this country. A race equality act in this country. And I'm thinking to myself, what is that about? What's he doing? Why is he backing it? Right? What's Starmer up to? Well, I know what he's up to. Everybody's going, why is he doing this? Even Ellen Joyce, she of the great florality, has said, what the bloody hell is he doing? Because Helen knows as well as I do that the Race Equality Charter, Women's Equality, all the equality legislation that existed prior to 2010 was rolled into the Equality Act. And if that's true, if all the stuff that was in those acts is actually in the Equality Act, which it is, what does Starmer exactly want to do with the Race Equality Charter? That's a very interesting question in its own right, isn't it? Ask yourself, what does he want to do? I'll tell you what he wants. I shall tell you. I shall tell you, madam. What he wants is to be able to elevate certain people of certain characteristics. This is a direct offshoot of having the Equality Act, right? That's what he wants to do. It'll be critical race theory. When we know, for example, that Ibram X. Kennedy's department, the old high priest of CRT, priest, he is male, isn't he? The old high priest of CRT is currently, crumbling to pieces in his £40 million department that produced 2 academic papers. Grifters. Keir Starmer's gone us, right? What are you going to do, Keir? Same as the grifters. All right, well done, Labour. Well done, Labour. So there's the grifters, and there's Sunak going, yeah, maybe not too much net zero, and we really should be careful about what we're doing about people's ability to drive. I've had it with the pair of them. I've had it with the pair of them, and I don't know why everybody else had. I've had it with the entire political system right now. But they say we get the politicians which we deserve, and we've got them, and then we end up with the governments which we deserve, and it's very likely that we're going to get that too. Okay, because that's a strange thing about democracy and power of the people and all that stuff. I just don't understand any of what they're doing. I'm like, come on, can we have something that's actually like groundbreaking? Like, right, we're dropping net zero, we're going for a low tax, high growth economy. Any of that going around? Remember that? Remember when that used to be the thing? We're going to support small businesses, which they didn't do, which they haven't done. They've hammered small businesses. The tax burden on business at the moment is absolutely insane. Keir Starmer's not saying, right, okay, it's time to separate the corporatists from the capitalists, and we're going to go after the corporatists. They're not saying that, are they? So these big companies here that have got millions and billions of pounds of turnover and employ hundreds of thousands of people are corporatists. How are we going to make sure that they're so big they can still fail? Because the problem is many of them are so big they can't fail. And if they're so big they can't fail, then they're no longer capitalists, they're corporatists, and they are a state in their own right. So why aren't they doing anything about that? I don't understand. Right? And everybody says to me, well, it's about the money. They've got their hands out of people's pockets and people are shoving them money and giving them cash and all that sort of stuff. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. What sort of world do you want to live in? It's an easy question to ask everyone, including you watching this now. I'll tell you what I want to live in. I want to live in a world where government is tiny. So tiny I could practically put it in my pocket. I want to live in a world where legislation is minimal. It's not complicated. Don't tell me where I can drive and when. Stop interfering in people's lives. We don't need a mummy or a daddy, right? Okay? Either. We're adults, right? What we want is another adult who's absolutely intent on playing golf. That's what we want, right? Okay? So, what are we going to legislate against today? Nothing. Tell you what, let's all go to the pub. Stop it. Stop interfering, you bunch of swine, right? Don't care who you are. Yep. It's a bit like, do you remember Brewster's Millions? Anybody? Anyone? There was two versions of it. It was in the first version. I think it was Don Amici. Second version was Richard Pryor. So he started a political movement called None of the Above. That's what we need. I want a box. Somebody start a petition. I want a box that says None of the Above. Right? So when we go to vote, we can vote None of the Above. And if None of the Above wins, they've all got to come back with new policies and we have another election. I think that would be fun. Why not? He says as he muses on nothing because he hasn't slept. But it's 5 a.m, right? Why not? Lucy Powell MP, who's my MP, she put up today, she said, oh, look, the Tories brought the rain with them. I wish they brought some policies. And I wish Lucy could have said to Tories if they brought any policies with them, but she can't, of course, because Labour hasn't got any policies either. They are policyless, the pair of them. But I did see the marvellous Priti Patel, who was frankly glowing when she was speaking about GB News. It was superb. GB News, thank you for all the work they do. Great, isn't it? Great, right? The legacy media, BBC and all that, are fuming about GB News because they are kicking their butt. And they're kicking their butt because they are a bunch of mad leftist morons in the mainstream media. And GB News is going, let's do something different. And people like different. It might take them a while. There's the normal news people, sort of on the bandstand. And everybody's going, oh, this is lovely. And GB News are a bloke in the corner with a flute going, and occasionally they go, till eventually everybody turns around and goes, who's the bloke with the flute? And they're going, because they want you to pay attention to them. BBC. Absolutely unbelievable. Politicians on the BBC going, we need to shut down GB News. People on the BBC who've been on GB News saying we need to shut down GB News. People going on GB News, right, who've been on the BBC for years, who have done the most awful things and said the most awful things and been the most controversial thing possibly get, saying we need to shut down BBC News. The media who've had men with flapping their knobs on the ivories of a piano, blinky, 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 playing tunes with their willy. God's sake, Rachmaninoff, you remember him, right? Playing the tunes with their willy. And these same people are saying they need to shut down GB News because Lawrence Fox pissed off some misandrist woman. It's beautiful. It's great watching them fight, isn't it? This bunch of, generally, to be honest, privileged folk having a bit of a go at each other. And as one of my warrior teachers said to me yesterday, where's the class analysis? Good old-fashioned left Labour, where's the class analysis? There is none, right? There is none, because they are genuinely of the belief that everybody's middle class. They've forgotten the working class exists at all. Sitting there, people trying to manage on next to nothing, working hard to get their kids through school. And the Tory party conference is in town. God, we've lost our way, haven't we? We've lost our way, beyond belief. Beyond belief. And then we go, men can be women. Yeah, all right. Let's throw that in the pot. Are they looking at the man with the flute? Yeah, right. Put something about men being women. That'll stop them. And they put something in the paper and the public go, oh, what's this? Transphobes everywhere. It's just one big game of mass distraction. Weapons of mass distraction. That's what it is. Weapons of mass destruction. Meanwhile, the TRAs and the lunatics in the school system and the universities, they hone their weapons of mass destruction. I mean, literally destruction of the school system, the education system, and of childhood itself. See what happens when I muse? I just talk nonsense. So far for 11 minutes. I have no intention of stopping. Australia have made it illegal for lesbians to gather together without including men who pretend to be lesbians. That's an entire country who's just said homosexuals are immaterial. Right? And some of my mates are still farting around Canal Street, or talking about trans women and women, or talking about how important it is to love everybody. Love is love. They're doing all that crap. You think to yourself, you're just not looking. It's not that they can't see the man with the flute. They know the man with the flute is there. They just don't make eye contact with the man with the flute. That's what it is. Rum-de-dum-de-dum. Don't look at the bloke with the flute. That's what it is. I may be mad, and you can tell me about that in the Dubras. Because I can't see how anything's going to change while people still retain this ability to have the most extraordinary cognitive dissonance and lie to themselves about things. Lie to themselves constantly about what's going on. How can they do it? How can we move forward until that stops? I don't know. The Tory party conference is in Manchester. And Labour want to bring in a race act, a race equality act, which in essence is equity, isn't it? That's what he's after. Let's have some equity, right? Because equity is a good idea. Yeah, of course it is. Ask anybody who lived under Mao or Stalin, Venezuela, you're right, or Ceausescu. Equity. Yeah, equity. Anything that promotes sameness. That's your problem. Oh, yeah, equity. What about the far right? That's what they say when I talk to people about this. What about the far right? I'm like, what about them? What, you don't think Nazis were equity pushers? The Nazis were equity pushers. Well, the old story, isn't it? The communist hates the Jew because he's a banker, and the Nazi hates the banker because he's a Jew. Equity. Sameness. The perfect race, the master race, and no master race at all. Two sides of the same coin. I don't understand why people don't get it. And there they are on Twitter. What a lovely idea 50-minute cities. Sounds idyllic. Keep playing. Don't look at the man in the flute. How the hell are we going to get ourselves out of this shithole? Because I genuinely don't know, right? I do, of course. One person at a damn time, that's how we're doing it. One person at a damn time, that's how we do it. We change minds, we persuade, and we hope that somewhere along the line someone will see common sense. There's a big change coming with Trump, I think, is doing something, and there's going to be an election. I don't think Biden's capable of winning it. We'll see who comes in after Biden. Talking to American people, they don't know if it's knife-edge stuff again, which it usually is in America. I think it's a foregone conclusion over here that Labour are going to win. Despite the fact that Sunak got an 8-point bump when he said he was going to drop most of net zero. We need to drop the whole of net zero. It's an utter nonsense. I think we're responsible for 0.5% of the carbon nonsense in the world. Just stop wasting our time. India's over there going, build more cars that provide more carbon. Right, okay. And China's doing what the hell it wants. It's utterly ridiculous. We're like some self-flagellating child sat in the corner of the global playroom. It's just insane. Absolutely insane. These decisions are going to be made by people that know what the hell they're talking about right at the top. All we have to do is make sure that they know. You don't get to take our freedom while doing that, which is absolutely what they're intent on doing. You don't think the social credit system's real? Look harder. Anyway, that's all the conspiracy stuff, isn't it now, today? All the conspiracy stuff. So that's it. That's my muse. I just thought I'd muse. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got nothing else to do. I'll see you later.